Have a bad dip on your hydrographics? Let's figure out how to fix it. Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're going to talk a little bit about bad dips. And so of course, if you've been in the hydrographics industry, you have all experienced a bad dip, whether you're first getting started, whether you're like me, and you're still getting some bad dips off and on. And so it happens, it's par for the course, and it's just something that inevitably you're going to have to overcome. And so a couple of things that you want to make sure of is that number one, you properly prep it right. Number two, if you do have a bad dip, then of course, what do you need to do to fix it and also make sure that the coating is actually still good and intact, and of course, what not to do. So let's go ahead, let's get started, go over a few of those things and get you back up and going as quickly as possible. All right, so what we've got here is just one of our training pieces that we quickly picked up, but as you can see, we've got a really great wood grain pattern coming all the way through here, but it does have a lot of stretch going down into this area right here as compared to that area over there. So overall, pretty decent dip. We could maybe touch it up, but inevitably this would be, for me, a complete redo. So even though sometimes you may not have dots and spots and flaking everywhere or things like that, there is still a possibility that you need to redo it. So what do you need to do to fix this dip and to be able to get back to where you can dip it again? So this is actually going to be very easy, very simple. The main thing is that you just need a new base coat over it. Now, in saying that, if you do just take this and you spray a base coat directly over it, there's gonna be a little bit of a risk involved in that. Now, a couple of things that you wanna make sure of before you go and you paint this part. Number one, after you dip the part, make sure that you've got all the PVA off of there. So make sure that it doesn't have any actual shiny spots on it, because once it's dried and it looks like it has a little shiny spot, maybe right here or down in a corner or a crevice or something like that, that means that you actually have still excess PVA that you didn't get off in the rinse process. So definitely make sure that you get all of that off and everything is all back to a normal flatter finish like what you started out with. So then of course, number two, make sure it's all dry if you just rinsed it off, because of course you don't want any water going onto the part and then mixing in with the paint itself. And then of course, number three would be is whenever you go back to repaint it, you want to make sure that that paint that you're applying back over to this is actually going to stick, because there's a high possibility that if you just paint this right here and you just go in the booth, you throw some paint on it and then move on, this second coat of paint that's going on top of this isn't really bonded that well. And so what we want to try to do is we want to make sure that it gets a really good bond and a really good bite in between the layers that we are doing. And so what we always try to like to recommend is either get a red Scotch-Brite or even a little bit of sandpaper and go ahead and scuff this whole thing up. The other option is that you can completely redo it, but usually that is not necessary. So the main thing is just making sure that the second coat of paint is able to bond correctly with this surface right here. So let's go ahead, let's get this scuffed up and at least show you guys what we're looking for whenever we're trying to rebase coat the part and have a second dip. All right, so once we've got everything dried off, ready to go, now we just need to make sure that the second layer of paint is able to stick to the first layer. Now, a couple of things that you need to remember. You don't have to take off all of this entire coating. So there's no need to go all the way back down to bare substrate. Now, if you're trying to get the smallest coating possible, then yes, you probably need to go ahead and get it all the way back down so that way it is the thinnest, smallest coating that you're putting on there. But in most cases, you're gonna be fine with just a quick scuff and then a rebase coat, because we've already done all of our initial prep work, and we've already done all of the primer, we've already done all of the initial paint. It's just the dip didn't stick. So now we need to go back in and get the second coat of paint to stick to this area right here. So you've got a couple of different options. We've got red Scotch-Brite, or we've also got actually some 400 grit sandpaper. Now, with something like this, 400 to 600 grit sandpaper is probably the more ideal sandpaper grit to use, but the biggest thing is that we want a good scuff all the way around. And so again, we don't need to take off the entire coating, we just want to scuff it up. So in this case, for something like this, just a simple scuff like this right here, and you can tell that this thing's definitely been repainted quite a few times, but something like this right here, want to make sure we get in those edges and grooves really well, and pretty much something like that is really all that we need. Now, the nice thing is if you did have any dust nibs or anything like that, the sandpaper is definitely going to get it off. It's gonna make it smoother, and it's gonna allow that second coat of paint to bond into all of these areas that you scuffed up. Now, in saying that as well, we can take the Scotch-Brite and do just about the exact same thing. So we can take the Scotch-Brite and apply a little bit of pressure, and you can see that, again, I'm not trying to take off the entire part or the entire film. I'm mainly just trying to scuff it up and get a good bond between that second coat of paint and this initial first coat that we applied. So something like that, I've got a good scuff or a good sand scratch all the way around right here, and then I would continue going through and do that across the entire part. So overall, whether it is a red Scotch-Brite or sandpaper, again, normally about 400 to 600 is what you really want to use. Either one of those is going to be perfectly fine. Once you go down further than that with the sandpaper, like maybe 320 or so, you're kind of going to get started into the sand scratches may start to show, and it may be too deep. So I normally try to like to stick to around 400 to 600 grit. It seems to work really well, and it gives the coating, the paint, an actual really good bond between the first layer and the second layer. So once we've got all that done, then simple process of blowing it all off. And normally at this point right here, this is actually where I'm gonna use a water-based wax and grease remover. So whenever we have this right here, it is still, of course, not clear coated, it's not protected. So if we have a water-based wax and grease remover, then it allows me to clean everything up, all the oils from my hands, anything like that, and it helps clean everything off really good. Now, if I'm using a solvent-based wax and grease remover, there is a high likelihood that whenever I go to wipe this off, I'm actually going to do two things. Number one, I'm probably going to take off most of the coating, and then I'm also going to soften the actual base coat, which is not what I want to do. And then as I'm wiping, I could actually move that paint and put gouges or take the paint off, and then I've got more of a problem than what I really need. So whenever you're at this stage right here, definitely using a water-based wax and grease remover is normally the better option for that. Now again, you could definitely test it. If you have a solvent base and it's maybe a mild solvent or a light solvent and it doesn't affect it and you've tested it out, then definitely use that. But for normally, whenever we're doing anything like this, a water-based wax and grease remover is our main go-to whenever we're trying to get that second coat on. So once we've got all of that done, we've got it all blown off, we've tacked it off, now we're ready to apply a second layer of paint. And again, all we're doing is using the same color paint. In this case, this might be a white or brown, tan, beige, whatever you're using there, you're gonna just respray it, re-dip it, and hopefully everything goes well on that second coat. All right, so I know that was short and sweet, but hopefully that gave you a pretty good insight into why you want to scuff up the part and what not to do whenever you have another dip or you need to redo a part that had a bad dip. So hopefully this video has really helped you guys out. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button, as well as if you want to see more videos on this, hit the subscribe button. We'd always love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips on anything hydrographics related. If you're curious about getting into the hydrographics, check out the links in the description below. We're going to have links to the website that has everything that you're going to need to get started into the hydrographics, including the tanks, training, film, activator, everything that you're going to need. It is all there on the website, so definitely check that out. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.